sure you're going to like the colors once they blend. Like red and green are beautiful colors, but when they mix, they make a muddy shade. So they're beautiful next to each other, not so much if you don't want mud. So I'm just shading the edge here, and then I might go in and do a little bit of the dark blue. And remember, if I wanted this to get even darker, I could keep going, or I could go in and trace it in the dark blue too. That would be another way to get more of the blue in. So that looks pretty cool to me. So I'm thinking I might just want to go ahead and do my spikes red. You can do small things, just one color. It looks really, really cool. Or two colors, but three's really not going to work for little teeny things like this. Now, if you notice, my pencil is rather sharp. I really like to use a cheapy one. Number one, these are expensive, and you don't want to ruin them in an electric sharpener who just keeps chewing your pencils away. So it's a great idea to use a little hand one. It also gives you a better point, which I just love. Okay, so we got this part done. I want to go over how to get these done. So we just fill them with yellow, which is my lightest color. Okay, just fill it in. Normally, you wouldn't have as much of the dark graphite on your picture, so this yellow would stay a little brighter and not get grayed down with this graphite from my sketching pencil. So if you used a school pencil, this looks better. That's what I really want to say. Then I'm going to go to orange, which is my medium color. Don't worry if you're a little off the line. Just deepen it nicely. It always looks pretty cool. Now I want these to look like each one is rounded. So what I have to do is I have to shade it one direction this way on all of them. Now you would do all these wings exactly the same way. So I'm not going to demonstrate all the wings, but I am going to demonstrate this one all the way through. See how I'm diagonally shading this little edge? You could use different colors. You want to use at least two. So you could just do the edges in a second color. Now I go the other direction. When you're done, you'll see that this starts to pop as looking more rounded, but it'll even be better if you add a third color. So watch what happens when I go in with the red here. I really want to get it nice and deep in that crevice and kind of blend out. I want to get it too deep where the spike is because I'll lose the spike. And you can see how it goes from dark red to an orangey shade and then to yellow. And I just let it kind of blend in there. And if I decided I wanted more red, I could always go back in and put a little more in. I could even trace it in the red just to make it a little more bold. So you can see that here too. Okay? And you can also see it up here. I only added one second color on these. This one only a second color. Okay, let's get up here to the face. So when you're doing a face, just like everything else, fill the face first with your lightest shade that you're planning on using. Just fill it in, leaving the webbing and all the little details done. Then go in and trace it with your medium. You can always later on trace it with your dark. But start with your medium, see how you like it. And some people say, but I always know that I'm going to want the dark, but actually two tones together in tracing actually is quite interesting looking. So I'm just basically tracing the shape. I'm not going to trace this area here because if anything I want it darker, so I will probably just do it in red. But then I'm going to shade him a little bit under the jaw, a little bit under here, fading it into his body, kind of disappearing back into this space. maybe a little bit more behind the fan. Think of it as being green, you'd really see it. So I've got some nice shading there. And now I just need to decide how much red I want. Do I want more red in here? I think you can tell that I'm going very diagonal. As I'm looking at it, I like it, but I wish the yellow was a little darker. I'm just going to go in and deepen it now. I'm even going to take my yellow and just run it into the other areas. So, really, really, really important that you just get it mostly to the point you like it. Go on. You can always come back and touch it up and work on it some more. The art is a lot of work if you want to do a good job, especially in colored pencil. It's a lot of work. This lesson would be really pretty if you traced it and then did it in watercolor, but it would be hard to do it in watercolor because it's so small. So I recommend if you choose to do it in watercolor that you be sure to blackline it because it's just too tiny to get the detail. So I actually am just going to use 2 colors on that ear. Just the bright green and pressing hard. Now I can do any color horns I want. I'm going to do green. That's 1 coat. And then underneath, just put a nice little dark edge underneath. Okay? Now arms, you can see them here. When I did them, I colored the little black fingernails and then I added the yellow, really a lot like the face. Yellow, the orange around the edge, and then I put this little texture bumps in. You can always make them more distinctive by tracing them and then filling them in. I just kind of did a little zigzag shape. It just depends on what you want them to look like. If you want them to be looser or tighter, I just tighten them up. You can have them anywhere you want. You can have a little bit on his hands. Yeah, kind of cool. You can even put them on his body. There's really not any strong rules. Okay, 2 choices. I would either use a Sharpie for the teeth and leave them white, or I would use a blue shade to trace the teeth. You can do a light blue like this because blue is the shading color. So if you really didn't want to add any black, that would work and it won't look bad. But it's really up to you. It will be easier to do this step if you have a very sharp pencil. And I think we're done for there. I think you're just going to be coloring now. I'm going to go ahead and put this picture out and you're welcome to pause it and freeze frame it. Keep working on it. And don't forget, if you have requests for other classes, it's BonJonArt at Gmail. And you're welcome to tell me what you'd like to learn. The next thing that I'll be doing is a vehicle in 2-point perspective for the older students. Okay, so have a good day. Talk to you soon.